What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very quick update on Tesla stock and give you guys a warning about tomorrow. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY in uninvested cash. The offer ends in 12 days. Anyways, as far as the market is going, we saw Tesla continuing to trade sideways. There was one dip that came back down close to 420 that aligns very close to our 4-hour 50 EMA, the yellow line here. Then Tesla got bought back up right over there. So Tesla's still technically in a range, but it's showing a little bit more weakness than before. And the market's slowing just a little bit more. I do want to warn you guys about something very important for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be Friday, December 20th. And just know that we have some data coming out before the market opens. We have the PCE data report coming out. This is very similar to CPI, and we are expecting a slight increase in the data. So we'll see if the data is hotter than expected or not. If the data continues to be hotter, that could be a sign that we have another increase in inflation that has been perpetuating, and that could be a little bit more negative for the Fed's policies, right? It could incentivize the Fed to be a little bit more careful and once again keep rates higher for longer and cut at a slower rate. So we'll see if PCE is hot or if it's aligned with expectations. We are expecting a slight increase in the majority of these metrics. But just know it comes out before market opens. So if you're holding anything overnight, just be careful with that. It might cause a big gap down or a big gap up. So we'll see about that. But for now, what I can say is this. Tesla's technically on a slight downtrend right here. We got this rejection near this 460 area only to start dipping lower. Now, we did get a dip all the way down to about 420, which is a pretty substantial move, but we haven't lost our 4-hour 50 EMA to turn a lot more bearish. So, yes, there's a slight downtrend here. We are shopping very close to this range right here between 445 and 420, which is where these EMAs happen to be. But if we lose our 50 EMA, that 418 area, and I don't know if PCE is going to be the catalyst or some other piece of news, then yes, we could be looking for a more substantial move down to the lower 400s. So I want to make that very clear. If we lose that support, that's going to happen. Right now, there's no sign of that happening, so we can't confirm a bigger drop yet on Tesla, and we're just range bound technically. I know the range is pretty big, so it's kind of funny for me to say that, but that's what's happening so far. That's what the chart is telling us. Okay, so there's a slight downtrend, but we are technically in a range. If you look at the way we were trading today, we were in a range. And we're going to be watching to see if the 420 support holds as the next couple of days pass. And just know that whether that holds or not depends on PCE data and other factors like that. So we'll see about that. But for now, I think Tesla just holds up in this range for now, and we'll see which way it ends up breaking. Okay, so watch the main resistances at 440 and 446, and our main support is going to be at we have some support around that 430 area, and then we have like 420 below that. And we're stuck in the range for now. So just give it some time to progress. As far as SPY goes, I mentioned to everyone I did see a lot of range bound price action, but there is some weakness simultaneously. So what was I talking about when I said range bound price action? Look at this right here. Today we pumped, dumped. This is the range on SPY so far. Close to a little bit below 588, so I'd say like 587.5 is where our support is, and then 590, the 591 areas where our resistance is. We're stuck going back and forth, but there is a risk of this dipping a little bit lower because we aren't holding 588. So if you look at like the 4-hour, there's a chance that we're rejecting off our 200 EMA of 591. And that could signify another move to the downside as a possibility. If we break past 591 tomorrow after PCE data comes out, then yes, we could try to go up for 595 and we will turn back up. But for now, we're not doing the best of jobs at holding above it. So I do want to call out a little bit of weakness that's showing on SPY because of that, right? Look at the chart right now. Look at the pattern, right? We have this like big rejection. We came up, attempted to rebound only to reject again. So even though we are range bound for now, I just wanted to call out a little bit of weakness showing on SPY. This could shift depending on PCE data, so just be careful, but just know the weakness perpetuates. Same thing on ES, right? Look at the ES 4-hour chart. We had this big rejection. We attempted to rebound, and now we're slowing back down towards this low here. So we're going to be watching to see how well we could hold above 59.50. And then whether or not we get a big bounce will depend on PCE data. I want to see it reclaim 6,000 to turn back up. If we can't do that, we're at risk of dipping closer to about 5,900 flat or below. So we'll see about that. It's technically in a range, but there's a little bit more weakness. NVIDIA was trying to bounce. It tried to get back above these key levels. So we had a high here at 136, came down at a lower high. When you zoom out, there's a clear head and shoulders like structure that's been established right over here. And because of the fact that we're not doing the best of job at holding above 133, there's going to be a risk of us dipping towards 128 or so. So please keep that in mind, guys, and be very, very careful with this coming out. For Bitcoin, we're on a bit of a downtrend as well. We're making lower highs and lower lows. We're looking for essentially 96,000 as the main support. That's going to be our 200 EMA. I mentioned that 96,000 is coming if we lost 100,000, so we called this level out. So watch 96,280. We got to hold that, or else Bitcoin's going to be at risk of dipping all the way down to about 94,000 next. So we'll see if we hold. We need to reclaim 102,000 to turn back up. Otherwise, this is looking a bit more bearish to me. For others out there, we have NQ. This is looking weaker to some extent. We pushed up higher only to dip. We have to see if 21,502 holds at our 200 EMA. If not, we could be dipping towards 21,250. So be careful. There's going to be a risk of a little bit more downside if we don't hold, and then it depends on PCE. The QQQ is just barely holding 516. If you look at this big rejection, we got another rejection here. So there is a risk of us dipping a little bit on this unless we reclaim like 520 and 525. I mean, it's favoring downside somewhat more. We haven't lost critical support yet. We haven't even lost like 510, or excuse me, or 508. So we're waiting on the data, but there is some weakness here. Apple is trying to push. We'll have to see if we close above 250 or not. We have 249.7 for it. About 250 is our main support zone, so we'll see if that holds. For other factors out there, we have the IWM. We're on a bit of a downtrend right here. We have to see if we could hold 220 or not. If not, we could be dipping towards like 217. For coin, we are on a bit of a downtrend. We have to see if we hold 275 or not. That's going to be very close to our 200 EMA. Otherwise, this is going to be at risk of dipping to where a lot of these like gaps happen to be. So just be a little bit careful with this. If 275 does not hold on this, just 273, I could be looking for it to dip towards the 260 area. Amazon held up decently. We're still above 224, so it's showing some strength. We'll have to see if 224 holds or not, especially going into tomorrow. There's a gap to fill down here, so if we do get some kind of rejection, could be coming back down. But if it reclaims 227, we have the potential to go up to 230. So keep those levels in mind, but just know there is a chance it might dip here. We'll just have to see depending on PCE data. Meta pumped only to reject a bit, so there's a chance it might be retesting like 605.96. So be careful with that. Microsoft made a rejection here, made a lower high here, so there's going to be a risk of it tipping closer to about 436 if we can't get back above 443. And then Google is it's rejecting a bit. We have a range between 188 and 193, so it might be retesting 188, and we'll have to see what happens after that. Anyways, that is it for my video. I thank you all so much for listening. Tesla is technically between these supply and demand zones. Okay, you guys can see them right here. But there's a slight downtrend on the charts, so not the best of signs, but it hasn't officially lost critical support to turn a lot more bearish. It's still technically holding up. And like I said before, be careful with PCE data. This could cause some interesting volatility. So make sure you guys are prepared in case you're holding any like calls or puts or any position on futures overnight. Just be careful, okay? Thank you for listening, guys. Have a good day. I'll be back very soon for another update, and peace out.